This video is going to be about intimacy in men. I'm talking to men specifically, and this is what I want to go through. Is it actually important for men to be intimate? And what does it look like? How are you supposed to be intimate? How are we supposed to show up for the people around us, whether it's with our friends or with our wives or family members or with God? And then what might be holding you back from being intimate with these people? And then finally, I want to give you an action step or a couple action steps to start applying some of these things into your life, just so you can be curious as to what it's like. What difference does it make to have intimacy? Let's get to it. Hey guys, this is Amos Bilo, owner of Poscamore Christian Men's Coaching. Poscamore is a Latin word that means we are needed. Who is the we that are needed? It's strong, healthy, and disciplined Christian men who are also spiritual leaders. And who are the ones that need us? It's our wives, our children, the church, and the world. So my mission through Poscamore is to help Christian men to become healthy and disciplined so that they can focus on being the spiritual leader that their family needs. Let's get to it. First, I just want to ask you, do you think that it is important for guys to be intimate? Yes or no? Maybe a little bit. I truly believe that it is so important for guys to be intimate, and I want to explain why. Now, I am going to get into what that actually looks like to be intimate, because that can mean a lot of things. But first of all, I kind of want to bring your attention to Jesus's life and Jesus's time and culture. In that location, people were greeted with kisses on the cheeks. Guys were greeting other guys with kisses on the cheeks, with hugs. Why is that? Why don't we do that here in our culture? Now imagine that someone came up to you. Another guy comes up to you, and you're a guy, and he says, "Hey, I missed you, brother." He comes in, gives you a big old hug, kisses you on the cheek, and says, "I love you." Would that be weird for you? Would that be uncomfortable? Is that too intimate? Would you shove him off, or would that actually make you feel good about yourself? That's interesting, actually, because it doesn't happen at all. You might just think it's weird. But now, what does that say about that friend who would come up to you and give you a hug and a kiss on the cheek and say, "I love you, man. I love you, brother"? What does that say about how he sees you and how your relationship is? What he is telling you through that intimate action is that he feels comfortable with you, he trusts you, he feels connected to you, he feels loved by you, and he loves you. Loved by you, loves you, and of course, if he loves you, he cares about you. So now, looking at all of this, obviously we're talking about just two friends, two guys who meet up, hug, one of them gives him a kiss on the cheek, and then the first guy is saying, this guy must really feel comfortable with me. He must really trust me, feel connected with me, be loved by me, I think he is, and then that he cares for me. Now, how cool is that? Does that make you feel good? Does that make you feel bad? Does that make you feel weird to see that there's a guy that cares this much for you? That's pretty awesome. Now, apply this to, let's just say, a husband and wife. Now, if a husband, as a man, is showing up in his relationship in an intimate way, and we'll get into how you can be intimate with people in your life. But if your wife or your friends see that you're being intimate with them, this is probably how they're going to feel. Maybe they'll feel uncomfortable at first, but that's because we don't do it that much. The more you do something, the more comfortable you feel with it. So the more intimate you are with the people around you, the more they're going to enjoy it and get to reap all of these awesome benefits. So this is why it's so important to really tap into being intimate as a man, as a friend, as a husband, as a father. Because there's so much connection there. There's so much trust. There's so much personal relationship happening. And God wants that with you too. And so if you can be intimate with the people around you in your life, then how much more will you be able to be intimate with God, the Father, who cares for you? Now let's go through how to actually be intimate. What does that look like? What are some ways that you can show intimacy to different people in your life? Here are some great examples of showing intimacy. And this doesn't have to just be with your wife. It can be with your kids and with your friends, with even coworkers. I mean, giving them a hug, giving them a kiss. You know, it doesn't have to be your friend. But it can be your kids and your wives, absolutely. It can be your mom and your dad. It can be your grandma and grandpa. It can be your cousins, your family. Shoulder touch. Grab someone on the shoulder and say, hey, I appreciate you. Say, I'm glad you're here. I've been thinking about you. Okay? I'm here for you if something's going on in their life. Listening to them. Asking personal questions and listening. Being engaged with them as they talk to you. So you ask them these questions and then you lean in. And you make eye contact, and you repeat what they say to you. You lean in on every word, and then you ask deeper questions, and you start to understand what they're going through, and then you speak into that. And that's just an amazing, amazing experience to have with someone. And that's the type of friendships that I love to have. So being slow to speak and quick to listen. Sometimes, especially for women, all they want to do is talk things through. They don't want you to fix it. They really don't. They want you to listen to them. They want to be heard. They want to be understood. Okay? Listen. And then open up. So if you're going to listen to other people and you want them to talk to you, then what's going to make that so much easier is if you actually open up to people. What do you have to hide? What do you want to hold back? What do you want to hold in just to yourself? Why is it a secret? Okay? Let it out. Talk to people. Work through these things because you'll figure it out as you speak about it. And then they will have a new level of trust because you chose to open up to them. And so it goes both ways. Okay? And then showing emotion. Don't be afraid to show emotion. Don't be afraid to cry. Don't be afraid to laugh and smile and be excited and be silly and climb on things. But let yourself have these ups and downs. Let yourself feel it and let other people see that as well. Now let me ask you this. Is it harder as a man to hold everything in and to do everything by yourself and to never ask for help and to not talk to people about your problems? Is it harder to do that as a man, or is it harder to open up to people? Is it harder to show emotion? Is it harder to let people know what you struggle with and what your problems are so that you can work through it faster? It's way harder to do that as a man. Okay, so are you being stronger when you hold everything in and you don't tell anyone about it? That's probably what you tell yourself, but you're actually being weak. You're being weak because it's too difficult and it takes too much strength to open up and to show your emotion. So if you want to be a strong man, this is what you do. This is how you show up. The other thing with opening up is that if you have a relationship, a friendship, where you actually talk about your problems, you talk about these big things in your life happening, are you closer to that person, or are you closer to the one that you only talk about girls and sports with? You're absolutely closer to the one who actually cares about you and you have deep talks with and you know his life. You learn something about him every time you talk. Okay? That's more important. Words of affirmation, things like, I love you. I care about you. I appreciate that thing you did. I appreciate you for this reason. I appreciate this quality about you. I look up to you for this reason. Say those things. Why would you hold that in? Because obviously it's going to make that person feel awesome. And it makes you feel good to be able to say that to someone and have that reaction and connection as well. And then thoughtful gestures. Serve people by doing things for them. Take their car through a car wash. Scrape it off for them. Bring over a dish of food to your neighbor. Little things like that mean so much. Let's go through just a few action steps that you can apply right now to start becoming more intimate with the people around you. All right, so this first one might be difficult, but I guarantee that you will open up your mind and change some relationships if you try this today. So after you watch this video, give everyone you know a hug today. Okay, and you don't have to know them super well, but ask them for a hug. You can ask them. If they say no, then fine. But I guarantee there's probably not going to be many people that say no to a hug because it's so needed in our culture and in this world, that connection, that intimacy. Okay, second action step, I want you to tell 3 people something you appreciate about them. Something genuine, something that speaks to their character and who they are and how they show up. This third action step doesn't have to do with you and other people, it has to do with you and God. I want you to spend 5 minutes alone with God. Shut off all technology, shut out all people that are around you. I want you to shut your eyes, and I want you to be alone with God, and I want you to try to speak to Him and pray to Him. And after those 5 minutes are up, I want you to write down what you got out of that, what that was like, to tune everything else out and just have a conversation with God and to create that intimacy. Let me know how that goes. And if you want to speak further on some of these things that are coming up in your life and you don't have anyone to do that, I would love to be that person. So we could set up a call to do that as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. If there's anyone else that you know that might benefit from this, please share this with them. And if you've enjoyed it, make sure to turn your notifications on or subscribe. Remember that our purpose as men on this earth is to do our best taking care of what God has blessed us with. Our bodies, our families, our jobs, our possessions, time and talents, and the wonderful grace that He's given us. And it's also our jobs to be the leader who serves as Jesus served us. Finally, we remember that we do all things to the glory of God, our Father. God bless, brothers.